then comes the next step. Bhagavato bhaktir dridhadhiyatam. So here, dridha bhaktihi bhagavataha. So what you call dridha is firm devotion to whom? To the Lord. An attitude of devotion. This is very important because it is only in devotion, it is only in prayer that the ego is kept under check. Otherwise, 90%, I don't know why I said 90%, I mean bulk of our interactions with the world emerges from the ego. Ego never lets go of itself. The ego with ego versus ego, you know. So unless the two egos align, is always on a ninja front. So what is devotion? Devotion is that attitude. Prayerfulness is that attitude where I consciously, willfully release my ego by acknowledging a higher altar. Very difficult for the ego to acknowledge a higher altar, because I am the highest is the statement of the ego always. Who among us is willing to say I am wrong? I am always right. The first thing is, when there is a clash, I am right, isn't it? Nobody begins by thinking, am I wrong? We always begin, I am right. And if I am right and you are not thinking like me, that means you are wrong. So what else? No, either if I am, both can't be right and be thinking opposite. So if I am right and you are not thinking like me, then you are wrong. We cannot think that I am right, you may also be right. There may be two ways of looking at the same situation. Do we think like that? No, we don't. We don't. That needs little more growth to think that I am right, but from your perspective, you may also be right. Every situation can be looked at from so many perspectives, no? There is no angle, there is no view which is the final view. When I look at this mouse, my computer mouse, the way I see it and you see it, we are looking at the same mouse, but isn't our vision different? For me it is long, for you it is what? It is horizontal. Always, any situation has different perspectives, but we always, it is the ego who always wants to say, I am right and you are wrong. Because we don't take into account what we don't know. How to take into account what I don't? How do I take into account why your perspective is different from mine? Unless I dip into your perspective, stand in your shoes and look at it the way you see things, is too much trouble. And therefore I rather say you are wrong, I am right, and close the matter. So the ego game, the ego is always out there, you know. We choose to operate from the ego. We have a choice, we have a will. We can choose how we want to operate, but we have chosen to operate from the ego. Where my philosophy, my thought system, I move with my thought system. What is devotion? In devotion, I suspend my thought system. I willfully I use my will to let go my ego, to let go my will and say what? It is Bhagavat Ichcha. I am going to live by divine will, divinity's will. That means however the universe commands, I will live. I accept the divine command. Do you understand what is divine command? No, I don't understand. I hope to understand. But I cultivate enough humility in me, enough devotion in me. So this cultivating devotion is an important approach in spirituality, because it's about oneness between me and the sacred being. If I don't even believe in the sacred being, then what are you spiritual about? There's nothing to be spiritual if you don't believe in the sacred. And therefore I need to accept that there is an infinite being, a spiritual being, that is the power, that is the omniscience, omniscient being, and with that, towards him, Bhagavataha, towards that being, Dridha Bhakti, I cultivate in me an attitude that I wish to know you, O Lord. I am told that you are not far from me, you are in me. So whatever is obstructing me from knowing you, and thus in turn knowing me, please remove that obstruction. And I know me only as an ego self. Is there a higher self? If there is one in which you are sitting, well, teach me the right attitude I need to have to access my higher self. This particular tender approach to entering, to touching my ego system and containing my ego system, moving into a deeper, higher space within, is called devotion. This is the closest way I can explain devotion without entering into technical Sanskritam definitions, all right? And so, Bhagavataha bhaktihi dridha dhiyatam. And so if I just become a devotee, is it enough? No. We have to cultivate what devotion means. It means you need to have certain attitudes. You need to drop certain other attitudes. And therefore, cultivating attitudes, values, special values for this spiritual life is given in the next sentence, Shantyadi Parichiyatam. It's a list of them, Shanti, etc. So, Parichiyatam.